Oh, delete. Yes, my people. It's your boy OP Coach, and I'm back. Yes, I'm back. I have been away for a while. I've been on holiday in Morocco. Then I went to Malta to see the World Boss Vibes Cartel. But I'm back. Long dreaded wait. I've missed it. I can't lie. I was gonna do content while I was out there. I did bring my camera, the microphone. Then when I just got there, I was like, you know what? I'm relaxing. I'm getting my head in the game. And when I'm coming back, I'm gonna hit the game full throttle, straight in, no games. Yes, it's your boy LP Coach, and I'm back. Game week 5. This is a preview for the game week 5. Yes, I still have been catching up with the football, even though I haven't been posting, but I've been catching up. I've been keeping up to date because I can't be lacking in this game. You've got to be on point. So yes, I am back. Whoa. It's been a bit of a lot's been going on. A lot's been going on since I've been gone. And like I've been saying to a lot of people, this is my favorite part of the season. This one, gas. Because for me, right now, the season starts now. Why does the season start now? Because European football has just started. Yeah, we just seen players come back for international break. Big week in the UCL. We've seen some big results for the English teams, and now we're going into game week 5 of the Premier League, and this is where it really gets cracking. Big games this season, and for me, this is now where the things are going to start shaping and teams are going to start formulating, because you have to, especially the team that's in the Champions League. We talk about Chelsea. Chelsea is what I'm going to talk about later on. But that little contrast from transferring from the Premier League and the UCL into the Premier League is going to be a big difference for a lot of teams. So let's kick straight into that big game. First game of the weekend, Liverpool versus Everton. Liverpool, perfect start to the season, winning every game. Some may say that their start to the season has been a bit slow in terms of how they're getting in terms of the performances. But at the end of the day, they're getting the results. Last minute winners again in the Champions League. Got themselves a last minute winner, Van Dijk. Can Liverpool carry this on? Liverpool's Slot said in the week that they can't keep doing this, and I agree, they can't keep doing it. But at the end of the day, we've all seen this, especially me as a Man United fan. I've seen this. Sir Alex stays. As long as you know how to win, get the points on the boards. There'll be a period in the season when you will show your quality, and in the end, you go on and pick up them trophies. So I think that's the stage where we at with Liverpool. And if they are the team to catch, because at the end of the day, with the squad that they've got, even some of the players that we haven't really seen them light up as much when we talk about the likes of Wirtz, Ekitike had a good start, slowing down. Isak's just coming to the team. Couple decent performances, but we all know the quality that they have, and they haven't really kicked off yet. So we're waiting slowly, patiently for them, Liverpool, to come and show us what they really got. But in this game, it's going to be a very difficult game for Liverpool because we've got Everton, who are on the resurgence underneath David Moyes. We must admit, Everton's start to the season has been really good. They had a difficult start when they lost their game when they drew against Leeds in their first game of the season, but they have since gone on and picked up some decent results underneath David Moyes. It looks like the boy Jack Grealish is starting to come back and show some little bit of magic. And this game here is going to be an interesting game because Everton, over the last 3 games, have put in decent performances against Liverpool. At home, a couple seasons ago, they got a victory, draw last time, and a defeat at Anfield. But it wasn't a whitewash, it was only a 1-0 victory. And I do believe Everton are going to have a very good season underneath David Moyes. And with the likes of Jack Grealish and Ndoye up front, it's going to be an interesting task for Tottenham and them moving forward. What do you guys think about Liverpool's start to the season? Do you think that they can carry it on? What do you think that Liverpool needs to tweak? Because for me, there was a lot of talk about Wirtz and his £130 million signing to Liverpool. But as Slot said earlier on this week, that a lot of people need to remember that he's only 22 years of age. He's only 22 years of age. He's just moving from Germany to England for the first time. And hey, not every player is going to light up the scene straight away. And I know that price tag is going to weigh heavy on him, but I do feel he's one of them players that you do actually have to give time for in order for that to work. But in terms of Liverpool, midweek, decent victory against Atletico Madrid. You can see that there is a little bit of frailty in that back line. We know that maybe Van Dijk, some may say he's coming to the best of his years. He might not be as good as he was before, but we can still see his quality there. But Konate, he's always had a mistake in him, but there's some saying that he's rumored to go Real Madrid. Is that fluttering in his ear? Is that maybe reason why he's not really giving his best or want to pick up a serious injury? We don't know. Kirkes, he got brought off. 34 minutes. Slot was not happy with his performance. Frimpong seems to be slotting in well, but overall, I do feel Liverpool do have a little bit of concern at that back line. And hey, Ndoye for Everton has been performing really well on the back of last season, has performing really well this season for Everton. So there is opportunity for Everton to create chances and maybe give Liverpool a difficult time. But Liverpool and their quality, they've managed to get over the line. And with that performance in the Champions League, maybe that will give them an opportunity to kick on and improve them performances going on throughout into the season. My prediction for this game, I do think it's going to be a tight game, and to be honest, I won't be surprised if this game ends up being a draw, simply because of the fact I think two of the teams are in similar positions in terms of form. In terms of Everton will be happy that they've managed to get 2 wins and a decent draw with good performances, their signings, and their team is looking to gel well. And I do feel a derby game, anything can happen. These players are going to be up for this game. David Moyes knows exactly what it means to go to Anfield, and I feel that he's going to want to give a statement for the Everton fans and himself, and him going back to Anfield with Everton. I do believe that David Moyes will give a good account of himself. So I'm predicting maybe a 0-0, 1-1 draw, simply because of how Liverpool will be performing. But don't be shocked if Rio comes on. Big up Rio, love him, quality. I hope he has an amazing season. Well, don't be surprised if Rio comes on and scores a winner, or Liverpool get a late penalty or something like that. But for me, I think maybe we're looking at a 1-1, 2-2 draw. I'm going to move on to the big game of the Saturday, I would say. Obviously, some will beg to differ that the Anfield derby, the Merseyside derby, is most probably the big game. But for me, this is the big game. Manchester United versus Chelsea, 5:30 kickoff. And I feel like it's a big game for both teams. Manchester United, because of their poor start to the season and their pressure for Amorim, the players and the owners as well. And it's also a big game for Chelsea, losing in midweek to Bayern Munich. Question marks about, are they really at that level? Some were claiming that they were the best team in the world, but struggling to find that form in this course of the season. So we'll see how this game turns out. But for me, starting off with Manchester United, Amorim, this is a very, very big game. I haven't spoke about this a lot. I'm going to do a separate video to this. I'm going to slap it on here and also on TikTok. Don't forget as well, people, to like, comment, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Hit a notification on your bell and follow me on all platforms. I do a lot of videos on TikTok and watch the YouTube shorts as well. I appreciate you guys all for the support. Yes, Manchester United, talking about Manchester United, my team, I must be totally honest. I have not been happy with the start of the season. It's been absolutely dreadful, but at the end of the day, I'm a one that backs the manager. Like, I'm one of them guys that I back the manager, and the reason why I back the manager, because we're still in this conundrum where I feel that players still have a little bit of power. The owners have done an amazing job in the summer of trying to eradicate that, but I feel that there's still one, two little murmurs of players that in this club that when they feel that if they don't perform, that they can get that manager out and try and push over again. And for me, what I'm looking at is I'm looking at the small details. Yeah, can I see an improvement in how we're playing? Yes. Does the stats back that up? Yes. Does my eyes show me that? How? Why are we losing games? What's the reasons we're losing games? Is it because of poor performances or is it because of individual mistakes? And for me, I'm seeing a lot of individual mistakes, which is costing the team. Yes, there's quality that needs to be improved. There was question marks around the goalkeeper situation. We got rid of the goalkeeper. We got a new goalkeeper in. He hasn't managed to start the season, but that I do feel that he I do feel that he needs to be bedded into the team much better. But again, there will be question marks around who's coming into the squad and where the position will be. Oh, sorry, one second. Oh, I knew I'd done something wrong. One second, my people. Switch this on. What happened now? Here we go. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Oh, one second. One second. Don't know what I've just done, but I think I messed it up. Cool. Let me check this out. Sorry, people. Don't know what the hell I just done there. Because you know what it is, I forgot to put the wrong camera in. Then, ooh. Ah, right, we're back. We're back. Apologies. I'm back. I'm back. But yes. Okay. Yes, talking about Manchester United and a manager. I believe that the players have been causing a disease in the club and in the system, which is allowing players to think that if they don't perform well, that the manager can go. And for me, one of the criticisms that I will have of the ownership of the current situation is they need to back the manager. Like we just saw Wolves. I know Wolves is a completely different dimension to Manchester United, but I'm just talking about the principle of what they're doing with their manager. Wolves are just giving their manager a long-term contract. For me, When I feel that you do things like that, it sends a message to the squad that, listen, this guy's staying here. Whether you like him or not, he's here. So if you don't want to play for him, tell us now and you can go. And this is what I feel that Manchester United and big clubs should be doing. You take control. You let them know that, listen, this is the manager that is going to be the manager of the club. If you don't perform, then you're going. It doesn't matter how good you think you are. If you don't perform for this club, then you can go. And I feel that this is where a lot of fans or a lot of ownerships and maybe a lot of clubs are losing their way, where they might see a young player that comes into the club, amazing potential, i.e. for Manchester United standards, the Garnachos, the Kobes, they come into the club, they get hyped up to be one of the greatest talents to come through, and now the club was so obliged and protected to do everything that they need to do to get the player on side, because if they don't, they're going to lose this amazing talent. And now the player gets all the power, they start asking for crazy contracts, they don't really want to perform, agents around murmuring around other places. Like, how I see it, there's so many footballers in this world. We see so many that have high potential that don't make it. We see so many players that don't reach that we don't think are going to be amazing players, and they turn out to be amazing players. So players come and go. It's important that you create the structure and the standard of the club so the players know their position at the club. No player should feel at Manchester United that, hey, I am the child, I am the one. They need me. If I don't do this, or if I don't perform, the club needs to do this, or they need to get rid of the manager. No, regardless who or where you think you come from, if you do not perform for Manchester United, regardless of who the manager is, you're gone. And I feel that this is the statement over the course of the season that the Manchester United owners need to make in regards to the players. And I do, and today is an important game. Just for the sake of how football is and how the culture is, that Amorim needs to win this game against Chelsea. There's no if, buts, or maybes. The performance doesn't matter. The performance doesn't matter. Right now, it's about picking up the 3 points. Because if we get these 3 points against Chelsea, there is optimism for us to go pick up points in the next couple of games that we got before the international break. And I know there's already rumours about Amorim. Man United is thinking of sacking Amorim in October during the next international break. But I just genuinely feel that these are rumours that are just being circulated simply because of the fact of the games that Manchester United got coming up. And if he generally doesn't pick up 3 points in them games, then he is absolutely done for. But wait, I'm struggling with this one because there is parts of Amorim's tactics that I'm not comfortable with. I already spoke about my position on the Cunha up front. I already spoke on my position about Kobe, but I do feel that he is, and I rated this message, especially when the group chat and I'm speaking to a lot of people. Kobe is at a stage in his career where he needs to understand that he's a very, very young player. He's 20 years of age. And I understand in the social media world and the quality and everything, how people are hyping you up, but you're at a stage where you have to sit down, listen, and understand what the manager is telling you to do. Like, regardless of who is at the helm, you have to ensure that you are doing what you need to do so that you become the player that everyone is expecting you to do. Forget about all the noise, forget about everything else, forget about the game time, forget about all of that stuff. You need to focus on doing what the manager is telling you to do, because as long as you're doing what the manager is telling you to do and you're focusing and you're improving yourself as a player, Kobe will play in this team without no shadow of a doubt. There'll be no question marks of him being on that starting lineup every single week. So for me, he's a player that I'm not concerned about going over the course of the season, but I am concerned about the striking situation because, again, for me, I didn't see the problem in keeping Højlund simply because of the fact of the scenario what we're in now with Cisco. There's no reason why we couldn't rotate it with these two over the courses of the season and see who works out to be the better one and just move that on throughout the course of the next couple of seasons. They're both young strikers. Let them compete with each other. But now in the situation, we put Sesko in the exact same situation that we put Højlund in. Not receiving what the service that he needs, struggling, pressure. Who's taking the weight off his back? Cunha got injured, as we see. Look at that. That's football gods for you. Cunha got injured, so who's gonna then play up front? We're gonna play in Bremer. We're gonna put Bruno as a false nine. continuously playing players unnecessarily out of position. I do feel Højlund is a player that should have stayed simply because of that situation. But none the wiser after that, this is a must-win game. For me, the performance doesn't matter. Manchester United have shown good performances over, especially against Arsenal, and over the course of a few games of the season. There's been horrid games against City where we absolutely, in the first half we played well against City, but it's in the second half, silly little mistakes, lost ourselves, and the quality shone in the end. And Man City just basically took the mick out of us. But for me, if we can get the 3 points against Chelsea, that's going to put us in good stead moving forward. Because right now, the reason why I do think Man United has a good chance of beating Chelsea simply because Chelsea just played against Bayern Munich in the Champions League, and they got absolutely smoked, finished, collapsed. Yeah, and for me, that showed that Man United can actually compete with the likes of the big boys. We showed against Arsenal, but not simply because of that result. The reason why I'm saying because of that result, is because of their traveling. The traveling is going to be a big part of why Man United is going to have a good start to the season. And over now, when these European games are going to come into it, I'm going to have a good opportunity of creeping into that top eight and maybe that top six, is because now Chelsea played their first team against Bayern Munich. They have to play that exact same team is going to play against Manchester United. They have to. There's no questions. They can't make too much rotation simply because it's a big game. And for me, Man United have the advantage because we've had that week rest and we have the opportunity to go into this game. I don't think we have much injury problems going into there, and we can actually go into this game with a fresh head and actually go and get the points that we need, because the players know that we need these points. We need this. So they can give 110% out on that on this game on Saturday. While the Chelsea players, some of them might be carrying knocks, but a few of them are going to be a bit tired. And it's going to be a perfect opportunity for Man United to go in there and stake their claim. What am I predicting for this game? I think it'll be a close game. Don't get twisted. I still think Chelsea have good quality, and obviously the boy Garnacho is going to be coming back to Old Trafford. Do I think he will start? No. And I did say this question: why is Garnacho happy with not starting for Chelsea, but when it's Manchester United, he wants to give it all the tweeting and all that malarkey? And that's one of the things that I said when I speak about players and why I'm sticking with the manager, because players are too comfortable to feel like they can disrespect Manchester United. And maybe that's because of the time that we're living in and the social media, and everyone wants to talk about Man United and it's banter this and banter that. But where does the banter come from? The banter comes from, we are known to be one of the best. We are the best club in England. Like, we generate the most money, we have the most traction, and just above us is Real Madrid. So we are seen as one of the biggest clubs in the world. So if one of the biggest clubs in the world is not doing well, then of course there's going to be cause for banter. But when it's the likes of Garnacho, you have to remember that you are the reason, you're the player. So for you now to be wanting to disrespect Manchester United is kind of the problem that I feel that's been at Manchester United, where there's too many players that feel that they can kind of ride on this wave of, oh yeah, Man United's not doing well. Mate, you're the player. You're the reason why we're not doing well. But you're happy to go on and be in the bench for Chelsea. But yeah, let Garnacho go do his thing over there. I'm not really too fussed, and I hope he really don't even get a game. And if he does come on, I hope Euro gives him you get me? No injury, just a nice little friendly tackle. Don't want him to break his leg or anything like that. I ain't condoning of that. But, just give him a nice little welcome home. But yeah, moving on. Another big game over the course of the season. Actually, I'll quickly go through the Saturday games before I move on to the games on Sunday. We got Brighton versus Spurs. Spurs been having a decent start to the season. Got a good victory in the Champions League as well. And Thomas Frank is really trying to do his stuff over there at Spurs. And you can see what he's trying to do in terms of his low block counter-attacking football, but then he can also transition that into a high press, and also he's changing both formations in the Champions League and in the Premier League. So you can see that the Spurs players are really adopting to Thomas Frank and his tactics going into this game. But it's going to be a big game for Tottenham, because Brighton, they've had a decent start to the season, and even though they lost it against Bournemouth, they still have good quality in their team. The player that I really like in the team is Mateta, the right-handed side player. I think they bought him a couple of seasons ago from a team in Australia, but he is really good. I think he's got the most touches in the box this season. When I watched him against Bournemouth, created a lot of chances, gets past his fullback well, does that in out takes it to the byline, whips the ball in, does some really, really good crosses. And he's going to be a dangerous player. I know there's a few clubs interested in him. I think Liverpool was interested in him into the summer, but he's definitely a player that if he continues his trajectory for Brighton this season, there's a player that a lot of teams are going to be interested in. So that's a player that Spurs definitely have to watch out for. How do I think this game going to turn out? To be honest, like I said, because of the Champions League and now teams playing in the Champions League, I won't be surprised if Brighton go on and win this game. And I'm going to go actually give a Brighton. I'm going to go 2-0 Brighton simply because the Champions League now back. But don't be surprised if Spurs also manage to keep their good form going and get a decent result against Brighton. But I say 2-0 Brighton. Burnley, Nottingham Forest, and Postecoglou back in the Premier League, lost his first 2 games. Do I think it's going to work out for him? I don't really know. I don't really think so. I think that management basically comes from the relationship of Ange Postecoglou, who's Greek, the manager's from Greece. And I just thought it was going to be one of them ones that's going to fly right in the end, and Postecoglou will be sacked very soon. How do I think this game is going to turn out? I do think simply because of that fact, I think Burnley are going to take advantage of that moment. And I do think Burnley will tight Burnley win. West Ham versus Crystal Palace. We've got Potter, who is in absolute dire straits. This is a must-win game for Potter. Crystal Palace been unbeaten under Glasner in the last 10 to 11 games. Can West Ham go on and get a victory? It will be tight. I can see a draw in this game. Wolves against Leeds. Big game, 6-pointer for these lags. Wolves haven't had a great start, neither had Leeds. I can see this one being a draw too. Fulham versus Brighton, another West London derby. Good result for Brentford. Brentford. Fulham versus Brentford. Good result for Brentford last week. 2-2 draw against Chelsea. Last minute equaliser. Also, Fulham getting a last-minute winner last game. I like the new signing, Kevin, signing from Shakhtar Donetsk, if I'm correct. Really, really good player. Reminds me a bit of Willian, the way he cuts in, cuts the other side, cuts in, cuts the other side, takes a little spinning shot. So Kevin looks like a decent signing for Fulham. Had a really, really good performance when he came in for his debut last week. I think Fulham might go on and win this game. I think he will start that game, and I think Kevin will have a decent game against Brentford. Moving on to Sunday, big game. Arsenal versus Manchester City. And this one here is going to be a very interesting game because Manchester City and Pep Guardiola look like they're on a resurgence mission to right the wrongs of last season. Had a bit of a shaky start, but now they're really looking to kick on. Decent performance in the Champions League for them this week. And similar merits for Arsenal. Arsenal have had a very, very good start to the season. Been very solid at the back after everyone's been, me included, mocking about all the defensive signings that they make. Every signing seems to be a defender. They're not really getting the strikers in. They got their striker in, but instead, Arsenal defensively look very, very, very solid. Over watching Arsenal, especially in the Champions League and in the league, Arsenal are a team that are very hard to score against. But Manchester City definitely look like they have goals in their team. Ryan doesn't fit in well. Haaland seems to look like he's got his shooting boot back on. And Phil Foden, decent performance. Great performance against Manchester United last week in the Manchester derby. And it looks like Phil Foden's back again in the midweek in Champions League. A little dink over for Haaland to get a little nod back into the goal. Great bit of skill from the both of them there. And it looks like Man City are starting to flow. And both teams did play in the Champions League in midweek, so both teams will have the same amount of time of rest, and both teams will be wanted to keep on the heels of Liverpool. So do expect both teams to put out a strong team and and go for the 3 points. How do I think the game would go? I do think one of these teams will win it. I could go on and say I think that it's going to be a draw, but I do think because of the high stakes in the game and where both teams are in the season, and both teams would probably, Liverpool could be a little bit away at the time that both teams play, I do think both teams are going to give 110% to go out and give the 3 points in that game. So if I'm tossing my hat either, I'm going to go a Man City victory. I think Man City victory. I think a victory against Arsenal. Pep Guardiola might just edit. edge it, and I do think Haaland and Foden are going to have a decent game. So wrapping it up. Last two games of the game week 5, we have got Bournemouth versus yeah, Bournemouth versus Newcastle. Newcastle lost in midweek against Barcelona from Marcus Rashford coming back to England doing his stuff. Newcastle have had a decent start to the season, but so have Bournemouth. I've been very impressed with Bournemouth, and especially Semedo. Semedo has been a player that I definitely said Manchester United should go in and get in the summer. He's a player that I feel that is really, really good. Very versatile, can play in the middle, can play on the right, can play on the left, can play up front, can play in the 10. I love a player that can just play football the way he glides past players, where he can shoot with his right, calm with penalties, great cross of the ball. Really, really good player. I'm surprised no top club took advantage of signing Semedo, and he has been brilliant for Bournemouth this season. And he's definitely a player that's going to cause Newcastle some big problems. And even Newcastle, with all the players that they missed out on in the January transfer window, that is a player that definitely would have took them to the level and could have gave them a very, very good chance in the Champions League. Yes, that's how much I rate Semedo. I think he is a top quality player, and I do feel that he's going to be a player that over the course of the season is going to have cause a lot of team problems. How do I think the game is going to turn out? With Newcastle again, like I said, playing in the Champions League. The Champions League, I'm telling you, is going to have big importance. And I don't think Newcastle have the biggest of squads to compete both in the Champions League and Premier League, but they will be wanting to give it a big shot because they will want to be a team that is consistently in the Champions League. If they do want to keep their top stars, as we saw Isak really raring to go, wanted to go to Liverpool, complaining about the ambition, wants to compete for trophies. So if Newcastle want to distill that narrative, they need to continue to push on and consistently be playing in the Champions League. Now, so for the game, I think it might be a draw. I go for a draw in that game. But again, I do no Bournemouth. I'm going to go for a Bournemouth victory simply because of the Champions League effect. I do think Bournemouth is going to go win that game. And last game, Sunderland versus Aston Villa. Aston Villa hasn't had a great start. It looks like Emery, if he doesn't pick up a couple of points, he looks like he might be sacked, or look like he might be wanting to get sacked, because I'm sure there's plenty of clubs out there that will be looking to sign Emery. Sunderland, good start to the season. And hey, do you know what? I do think Sunderland's going to go on and win this game, just simply because of how Aston Villa are at this moment, how Sunderland will see that as an opportunity to go out there and get the 3 points that they will need. Because one thing I will say, these promoted sides are giving a good account for themselves. I do think the narrative over the last couple of years with the promoted teams going straight back down after they're getting promoted, I do believe that these clubs are trying their very hardest to break that buck. And Sunderland, especially the way they started the season, are definitely looking like they're one of the teams that are trying to say, no, we are here to stay. With the money they spent in the window, I do believe Sunderland are going to give a good account for themselves. So I'm expecting a Sunderland victory this weekend. I'll say 2-0. And if they do manage to get that victory, Aston Villa and Umar Emery have got some big questions to answer. But thanks, guys. That's me wrapping it up. That's my EPL roundup. Like I said, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. I will be here more consistent, no more videos. I ain't going nowhere till next summer. I am active. Boom. Mm-hmm.